So, Olga, you're coming tonight for a visit?
I don't know, I'm hungry.
Don't worry, I will prepare a piece of meat for you, a really good one.
Okay, I like your meat.
Oh, friends, you see, just offer a piece of meat and they will come. But we must keep our promise, so let's go, I will show you how to properly cook a pork steak. Let's go.
So friends, to prepare a proper pork steak you will need a cutting board, a sharp knife and a piece of pork. In this case I'm using pork's neck. It's best meat for steaks, but if you don't have neck you can use any other kind of pork meat. Now you want to identify the direction in which grain of the muscle is going. In my case it's going like this. And when you have identified the grain of the muscle, you want to cut across it. Now you want to cut it into about 2 to 2.5 centimeter thickness slices. When dealing with meat, take your time, it's no rush. Anyway, keep cutting this piece into slices until there is no more left. Oh, Mr. Kitty smelled the meat too! If you come across a piece of meat that you think is not really edible, like a skin or large chunk of fat, then it's okay to give it to your cat. You just look how this fat bastard is playing with his food. Okay, it's enough teasing, here you go. Of course, needless to say, the good pieces you want to keep for yourself. When you have already built and collapsed your meat tower, just put this meat into a bowl and prepare for the next step, which is to take some black pepper and some allspice and grind it down. And of course, later on you want to put it on your meat. Also, put on liberal amount of salt. And then it's time for your hands to do the job. Try spreading spices on all pieces equally. Once you've done that, make a meat tower once again. You need to do this to minimize meat's contact to the air. Put everything into your bowl again and then put it into fridge for about 30 minutes. Now most of the people think that you need cast iron pan to cook a proper steak. But I can show you that this is not true. You can cook a proper steak on Teflon or even stainless steel pan. The procedure is pretty much the same. You need to heat up your pan and pour in a little bit of oil or pork fat, but this time just a little bit. Make sure that your oil covers the entire surface of your pan. Now when your oil starts smoking, it's time to put in the meat. Put your pieces of meat loosely, so they would have a little bit of space. Now at first it will seem like the meat has stuck to a pan and your pork steak is ruined, but I can assure you that everything is in order. You just need to cook them for about 5 to 7 minutes regarding on the thickness of your pork steak, and then you will be able to flip it over with ease. Now when the time will come, you will start noticing that your pork steaks has unstuck from the pan. At this point you want to flip them over and do the same procedure over again. Just make sure to never use a lid when cooking steaks. Now since this is pork, you can't make them medium rare or rare. You need to make them well done, but the same beef steak testing technique works here. You just need to make sure that you're touching your third finger. And when it's cooked, take them out of the pan and put them on a wooden board. And keep them on the wooden board for a few minutes so the meat could have some after cooking effects. Now you may want to see how the inside of the steak looks like. Okay, let's cut it across and let's see. And there you have it, a perfectly cooked pork steak. Still a little bit pink, but not too pink. With pork you can't go any pinker than this. But you don't want to overcook either, because then the meat will be very tough. And now it's serving time. In Eastern Europe we usually serve meat with a piece of bread. And we put a jar of fermented pickles by the side. If you want to go fancy, you can add a jar of sauerkraut too. If you want to be funny, you can put a tube of mustard that spells penis backwards. And if you really want to create the mutual affection, pour in a small glass of your best mead. So that's a pork steak Eastern European way, the tasty way.
So there you have it, friends, a delicious pork steak. Now like this video, share it with your friends that like pork too, and subscribe to not miss any more cool recipes. Good luck, friends!